everyone, today I'm here to bring you my March wrap-up. So this month I actually read 7 books and that's pretty amazing. As always, I'm going to start with my least favorite and working up to talking about my favorite. Let's begin. The first book I want to talk about, I was expecting a lot more from it if I'm honest with you, but overall I liked it, I just didn't love it. And that is The City Baker's Guide to Country Living by Louise Miller. I would say this is an adult chick lit novel. It's all about this woman that is a pastry chef and then she kind of loses her job, so she moves to Vermont to be with her best friend, and she gets a job as like the morning pastry stuff like that cook at this really cute inn, and it's all about her developing her life in Vermont as well as cooking as well as baking and things like that. I have learned that I do love books that talk about baking and cooking a lot, but I have yet to find one that I just really like. All the ones that I've read that primarily focus on like baking and things like that, I feel like they kind of fall flat for me, and this one definitely did. I felt like there wasn't enough character development. I didn't love our main character. I felt like she moved to Vermont and, you know, she went to kind of like a fresh start and her best friend was there, but at one point she's like having her new life and she's really enjoying it, and she kind of just leaves like her pregnant best friend all alone, and I'm like, I didn't like that much, and it felt like the plot was very scarce, if I'm honest with you. I just felt like it fell short. I will say, this book mainly focuses on this apple pie competition, and good lord, did it make me crave apple pie like nobody's business. Like the next day I finished this, I'm like, I'm gonna have to buy an apple pie, like it's gonna have to happen. It was on March 14th, which is 3.14, which is pie, so it's National Pie Day, so that's awesome. But either way, I just wanted to like this more, so I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5. I enjoyed it, I just felt like it fell kind of flat. The next 2 books have the same rating, so I'm just gonna combine them together almost, if you will. The first one I'm actually cheating on because I am not finished with this yet. I am filming this a couple days before the month ends, and I know I will finish it before March ends, so I feel confident putting on here, just letting you know, full disclaimer. And I'm actually listening to this book, and that is 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. It's actually a Netflix series now. It's probably out by the time you're seeing this because I am pre-filming it, like I said. I really honestly had no intentions of reading this book. I've heard a lot about it. I kind of knew the whole plot, but the Netflix series, if I'm honest, sparked up my interest for it again. The Netflix series goes. I've heard really good things about it. If you don't know what this book is about, it's about a girl named Hannah Baker who actually commits suicide, and before she commits suicide, she makes these 7 tapes that has 13 sides, which is called 13 Reasons Why, of why she committed suicide, and she sends them to 13 different people, and our main story follows Clay, which is right here, and he's trying to figure out why he has to do with Hannah's suicide, and you learn more about it. I'm listening to it, so I would highly recommend you listen to it because I've heard the book is okay, but I've heard a lot of people like the audiobook much more, which I can attest to. I do like the audiobook because I mainly hear Clay's voice in the audiobook, but whenever he switches and listens to the tape, it is Hannah's voice, so it really has that great dual narration when it comes to that, so I like that a lot. I think the audiobook enhances that feature of the book because it's, you know, when you're reading about the tapes, you're trying to picture Hannah saying it, and the audiobook you actually listen to it. Very interesting book because, you know, you're reading about somebody's reasons of why they committed suicide, which is a very heavy and deep and dark subject. I do enjoy this book for the aspect of, you know, really listening to Hannah's perspective and how her reputation got ruined because of a whole bunch of rumors, and just how really what you say to a person can really affect them even if you don't think it affects them. And it really will make you think about your own actions. I know it has done that to me, you know, whether I talk to my friends or people I know, like I really am affecting them whatever I am saying right now. So it is a great book for that matter. You know, I think it talks about a very important subject that needs to be talked about, and I'm hoping the Netflix series is good. I'm hoping that Netflix uses their platform to talk about suicide prevention, but overall I like this book. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. The plot was, I felt like some of the characters fell kind of flat, but overall I would highly recommend, if you're interested in reading this book, I highly recommend listening to it over reading it. I've heard that time and time again, so I will, you know, recommend that as well. The other book I rated 3.5 stars is A Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst. This is, as far as I know, a standalone fantasy novel. I think the author is waiting to figure out how this book is going to go over, if she wants to write another book. I have heard my friend over at Between Chapters told me that she's actually writing another book set 300 years or something like that before this one. So I don't know if you want it. I'm still counting it as a standalone. This is all about a princess that is betrothed to another prince and another kingdom, and she doesn't actually fall in love with the prince. She falls in love with the prince's sister. So it's all about that. It has dual narration in this one as well. This point of view, which is the princess that is betrothed, as well as Mare, who is the prince's sister. And overall, I did really enjoy this book. Very interesting how she was supposed to fall in love with the prince, but she fell in love with the prince's sister. That was very awesome for the diversity factor and things like that. But I felt like sometimes with royalty stories, especially with kingdoms, I get very, very confused when they talk about neighboring kingdoms and things like that. I was very confused while reading this, as well as I felt like the plot was kind of slow. Overall, I think our whole story follows Denna and Mare, which I did enjoy a lot. I like their chemistry. I like them together. I thought that was very interesting. But as far as like the outside threat to the kingdom and things like that, I felt like it could have been elaborated more upon. I wanted to learn more about it. I felt like it was kind of like not brought up that much. I enjoyed this one. I wanted to enjoy it more, honestly, but I still really recommend it, I would say, especially if you're looking for a standalone fantasy, because that's very, very few and far between. And if you're looking for a diversity book, this is great for it. But I overall enjoyed it. Like I said, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. The next two books I rated 4 out of 5 as well. And the first one is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This book actually has its own review on my channel, so if you want to check that out, I will leave it right here. This is all about like a Caraval that comes every year, and it's very mysterious, very elusive, and things like that. And it follows our main character. She goes, and her sister gets kidnapped when she gets there, and the whole carnival's premise is finding her sister and things like that. I did really enjoy this one. There were a few problems I have with this one as well, mainly our main character. I felt like she was very indecisive with things, and she had a lot of other people make decisions for her. But as far as the Caraval aspect, like, I loved reading about that, the magic and elusiveness of this place. It was very, very interesting. It made me want to read like every book about carnivals and like mysterious magical things and things like that. And I would recommend this one because I do like her writing style a lot. She's very, I don't know, very descriptive when it comes to writing and comparing things to other things. I did enjoy that as well. Overall, I do plan to finish this however many books it may be series, because it is interesting. I did really enjoy it. There was just a few problems. You can see my review for more, but I did enjoy it a lot. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. Like, I was thoroughly entertained the whole time I read it. And the other book I gave 4 out of 5 to is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This is an adult sci-fi novel. This book is like the equivalent of a mind. You know that word. I don't want to say that word because I don't like saying that word. But either way, it is 100% that. This book, after you finish it, will make you question everything. It'll make you have weird dreams. This book is all about Jason, who is a local college professor. He has a wife and his son. Then one day on the way home, he gets mugged and he gets like injected with a shot. And then he wakes up in like an alternate reality where he is actually not a local college professor. He is a celebrated scientist, and he doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have a son. So he's freaking out, obviously, as one would. And he's trying to get back to the reality that he knows with his wife and his son. This book is all about like multi-dimensions, parallel universes, how one decision you make could be split into like 50 other different identities. It is insane. Either way, I really enjoyed it. I will never reread this again because of the sheer fact of how much it messed my mind up. Like, after I read this, I was so questioning everything about my life. And I'm sure if you've read this, you felt the same exact way. Overall, I really enjoyed this one. It is very interesting. I will say it does get scientific jargony a lot. A lot of times I was like, what? Because I'm not a science person at all, but overall I really enjoyed this one. The next book I read, I wasn't planning to read, but I'm so glad I did, and that is Geekarella by Ashley Poston. This book is coming out this month, and it is such an adorable book. Oh my gosh. You can't already tell. It's like a retelling of Cinderella, only like a fangirl style. And it is so worth it. I was kind of skeptical. I thought this was just going to be your everyday contemporary. No, I found this so adorable, so heartwarming, so cute. All of the heart emojis, all of the cotton candy fluffy things in life is this book 100%. This book follows fangirl Elle, and she is living with her stepmother, the evil stepmother, and her 2 stepsisters who are evil. And she has lost her mom and her dad. Very much a fangirl to Starfield, this amazing TV show that was on so long ago, and she learns that they're making a movie out of it, and she blogs and things like that, and she starts blogging about the lead actor that's going to be in the movie, that's going to play the ever famous Prince Charmander in the reboot, and the actor's name is Darian, and she does not like him. She's so mad he got cast, and so she starts blogging about him and things like that, and she is also preparing to go to this Starfield convention called ExcelsiorCon. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Well, Darren, on the other hand, because we follow both Elle and Darren, on the other hand, loves Starfield, and he's very skeptical of going into this role because he knows how much people love Starfield and he doesn't want to mess it up. And he also is planning to go to ExcelsiorCon as well, and so he actually starts texting who he thinks is the manager of ExcelsiorCon to ask questions, but little does he know that he is texting Elle, and little does Elle know that she's talking to Darren, so they quickly are starting to talk, almost like a You've Got Mail situation, and that's all you really need to know about. It's like You've Got Mail with Cinderella. It has such amazing Cinderella vibes. There are so many. I mean, the place where she works at is called the Magic Pumpkin, and it's a moving food truck, and they feature everything like vegan pumpkin. It's just so adorable. I'm so glad I read it because I fell in love with it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I think one of my favorite reads of the year, honestly. One of my favorite contemporaries I've ever read because it was just so cute, and I love how they mix Cinderella with like fangirling and geek on it and like geek and things like that. I love how they talked about Starfield. Highly recommend this one if you want something that's going to make you smile and make you think about Cinderella and just make you, like I said, smile. Read this one, please. And my favorite book of the month, I was again not planning to read, but I am so glad I did, and that is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This is the first book in the Darker Magic trilogy, and I loved it so much. I don't know why I waited so long to read it. I don't know. I have an overview of this one as well, so you can check it right here. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I gush about it in my review. Overall, it's about like a fantasy world where there are 4 parallel Londons. One is Red London, where our main character Kel is from, and it's really flowing with magic. They treat magic as their equal. They have White London, who really constrains magic and keeps on a leash, and so the magic's kind of fighting back and really hurting the city. You have Grey London, which is kind of like our London, where there's no magic really, there's just royalty, and there's just no magic really. And there's Black London, which magic has really faltered. There's nothing left in Black London. Nobody talks about it anymore. Kel is actually one of the few people that can actually travel between these parallel Londons. So he's a messenger, and he can go from London to London giving correspondence, and he's also a smuggler, and he gets into some bad vibes and things happen. Overall, an amazing, amazing fantasy book. Like, I highly recommend it. The first 50 pages are a little slow, but it will rock your world, I guarantee, because it's great character development, great adventure. 5 out of 5, 100%. I love this book. So these were all the books I read in March. Not too shabby. 7 books? Yeah, I'll take it. Pretty much enjoyed all of them. There were a couple that fell flat for me, but overall, I liked every single book I read this month. If you have read any of these books, please let me know down in the comments. Do you feel the same way as me or not? Just let me know. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions. I make 3 bookish videos a week, so be sure to subscribe to my channel to see more every single week. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And have a great rest of your day. I will see you in my next video.